Well, firstly, it's always good to see the. It's always good to see the players, because obviously we haven't seen them from the last camp, and of course, what happens at international level is that you, apart from either seeing them play live or on video, you know, there's a period of time where you don't see the players. So this would be the same with the players seeing each other. So first and foremost, whenever they get together, they're all good friends. Some of them go back a long way, but they don't, of course, can't see each other over a period of time. So generally the morale is very good. But then, of course, what happens very shortly after that is the morale is good, they arrive, they're good to see each other, but it then becomes the concentrated work of a football match and winning a football match. So I've always found the players responsible, always found the players dedicated to the training that they do, and of course desperate to represent the Black Stars and to win a game. And we know, of course, the next game for us is an important one that would see us gain qualification.
So what are you telling them?
To be honest with you, there's a part of me that doesn't have to tell them. You know, they know what they're here for. They know what the challenge is. They know that at the end of this challenge is AFCON 2024. This is the goal. So that's the starting position. My responsibility is just to reaffirm that with them. You know, to get them together as a group, to determine the tactics, to determine the team, and to encourage the spirit that I always see there. Okay, so the answer to them is, both of them, is yes. I mean, the situation with Gideon is that Gideon his club have been managing an injury that he has. So, but this is somebody that's been playing in all of the games, and maybe some of that is because his team were obviously in a very difficult position. Sometimes you get a feel from a player who is maybe not so confident in coming, or a player who wants to come. You know, Gideon wanted to be here, and that's a good sign, and that goes back to the first question. You know, this is somebody that wanted to be here in camp. So it was our responsibility to assess him, to assess where he is at the moment with the medical information, and come to a conclusion. And the conclusion is that probably at this stage, we didn't want to risk him. You know, this is post-season. He has, as with all of the players, they have a pre-season to go back to and to start of another season, and we felt it wasn't right to risk it. The second part of that is that at this moment we haven't brought a replacement in. We will work how we will work this week. If we feel different, you know, after these few days, then we'll assess that again, and perhaps somebody that will be in a standby situation. But at this moment, we are not bringing in a replacement. Okay, so firstly, as regards our plans, is that the biggest part of management is having to be adaptable. You know, this would not be the first camp. The game that we've had players that we expected to be here that couldn't be here for whatever reason, injury mostly. So this is always part and parcel of it, and that's why we have the squad that we have. And for what we always say, for somebody that potentially might have been a starter, it's an opportunity for somebody else. And this is an international squad, and we'd like to think that there is no absolute standout first 11. What we would like to think is that there are, whatever the squad is, 23, 24, 25 players that are all pushing to want to start. That's one expectation. As a coach, you always have to give the players all of the full information. And when we do our homework and when we watch the opposition, there isn't one opposition that we see that we think are we going to win this game easy? There isn't one. Every international team is fighting to do well, and Madagascar would be no different. They are playing at home. They need to get results, so we would expect a difficult game, and it will be up to us, and it will be up to our performance to see, what the outcome is. But we will be a team that will be ready, and it will be a tough game. Yes.
Okay, let me go.
Yes, I mean most of the of any player that's in the squad, mostly the assessment is before, and that's why they either come into the squad or that's why they remain in the squad, or that's why we're maybe perhaps they haven't had so many starts, they then start a game. So most of the assessment is before we get to camp, but. The only opportunity that we get to see these players close, apart from video or watching them from the stands, is in the training sessions. And no, I've always been impressed with the level of commitment and quality that we have in the training. And in most cases, it makes life a little bit more difficult for the coach because, as the head coach, I have to pick a team. And that can be part and parcel of it. It can be for what I already know, or it can be from something that I see in the training that makes me think a little bit different.
United here is really motivated for this clash between Madagascar. Yeah, as you can see, we still have the belief. The belief is still there, the teamwork, the commitment and everything. So even though they had a little bit ups and downs in their club, that doesn't really affect them in their national team. And with their mentality, they are really ready for it. And we always talk about it. And their full focus is on the game. And the pass is the pass, and they are always focusing on the game, which is against Madagascar. So I think every player who is invited here is really ready to give it all for their fans and for Ghanaians.
Okay.
Your question, for me, I'm not really under pressure or something. My style of play is to always help the team in terms of giving assists, in terms of fighting, in terms of defending, in terms of taking players on. That's my task. If I score, yeah, we thank God. But the most important thing is the team. That's the most important thing. So it doesn't matter who scores or who makes the assists. The most important thing is working together as a team to produce the results for Ghanaians. Thank you.
Hafiz, yeah, as regards Hafiz, it's really only today that we've seen him. Yes, because he played on Sunday. Yesterday he had a recovery day, so he trained today. And probably what I was fortunate to see him live at last weekend, and I have been able to watch him on video, and so it wasn't such a surprise. I thought he did well today. It wasn't a surprise because he's a player that I've enjoyed watching. He's a young player, so I think he has a lot of development still. I think he's quite a mature. Speaking to him, he's quite a mature player for his age. But I have to be honest with you. I don't know him so well. And my responsibility over this period of time is to know the league better. I've been trying to participate in as many games as I can, and I will continue to do that. And as I continue to do that, I will get better knowledge of the league in general, but probably more importantly for us, I will get better knowledge of individual players. No, I mean the only thing I can say, and I can't speak about individual players. I can't. The only individual player I can speak about, of course, is Konkoni because he's with us. But yes, the level here is a good level. But what I have to do, I have to assess as regards, because for me the most important thing is getting results. This is the most important thing. So I continually have to judge the level of the squad, and for my experience and knowledge of of the local teams and improving on that, then it will always be that balance. It will always be that balance. Do I think this player, do I think he's better, or is he playing better at a particular time? So I will take this into consideration. And if there's an area where we have a problem, then not only me, I also have two assistants. One in particular, Didi Dramani, who's based here, who knows the league very well. So I will give myself every opportunity to know the best players or best replacements that I can. What my okay, so as regards the level of the local league, I think the level is a good level. But what I have to determine is, what does a good level mean? Because you can only judge that by comparing it to something else. And what we have predominantly in the squad are a squad that's predominantly playing Europe and playing different leagues in Europe. Some in the top leagues, but all good leagues. So my responsibility is to determine the level and how I gauge that level. It's very difficult because I have to do it against something, and I will only know that by watching as many games as possible. The difficulty, I suppose, with the local league is that the league loses a lot of players, and of course when you have a league that loses a lot of players, it's what you replace them with, and probably what I have seen is that a lot of clubs are bringing in younger players, which is good for development, and there's no doubt there is talent here, but it's about the next stages for them and playing on the best stages that they can. So again, I'm still in that stage of assessing everything, but I must admit I've enjoyed a lot of the games I've seen. I've enjoyed. Some of the surfaces have been difficult surfaces, and I've seen teams that have tried to play good, attractive football on these surfaces. So yeah, I certainly feel that I will get more knowledgeable as time goes on. No, I think it's just. Firstly, it's just.
Coach.
Okay.
No, it's off. It's off.
That's okay. I can shout. It's fine. It's fine. No, mostly, some of them I knew before. Mostly, it's getting to know them, and the association have put together a course. I think we're all knowledgeable about that with 18 coaches. I was able to join them this morning for one of their sessions. So mostly it's about getting to know them, asking them questions about their team, what they find the difficulties, and trying to help them as much as possible. But I can only do so much. My role is as the head coach of the national team. So this is my biggest priority. But we have a group of coaches here that want to do well, want to learn, want to expand their knowledge, and any help I can give them, I'm only willing to do that.
Okay. Cool.
What I can tell you is that, we are monitoring all of these players. And what I did say about consistency is that no, it's not just about consistency. It's not so important for me to have the same squad, every camp. But what I did say was it's important for me to have the balance. What is difficult to do, I can't change 5-6 players every camp, because there are also players that decided when they had other options to play for the Black Stars. So I have to get that right balance. But I can tell you, all the we have a data list of players that are all eligible to play, and we track them the best way that we can. Oh, okay. Okay, that was okay. So you're talking about back then. Okay. But that was back then. No, as regards Madagascar and getting a result in Madagascar, I can't promise anything. There isn't one coach that would sit here and promise that they would get a result in the next game. Not one. The only thing I can promise you is that we will have a team that will be determined to do that. We will have a coaching staff and a head coach that is determined to do that. We know the value. We know the value of a win against Madagascar. We know what that means. But we also know that we can't take them for granted. And as regards the small and easy games, there are none. Because every country is trying to improve what they have. Every country, when you look at the individual players, are now playing in better leagues. So that means the challenge is bigger. But as they say, what we can promise is that we will have a team that will give everything, to get the result that we want to get.